Hey lovies, welcome back to another delicious recipe. And on today's recipe, we are going to be making this simple and delicious oven baked fish roast. So guys, let's get started with this recipe. So guys, right now we'll start by prepping our fish that we are going to be using for the fish roll. So I'm adding my salt and fish seasoning into my 2 mackerel fish. I'll add in some onion powder, but you can go ahead and add in some fresh onion. I'll add in some garlic powder. Half nut cube. And I'll add in some water and allow it to cook completely. So now we'll start prepping the veggies that we are going to use to stir fry our fish. Right here I have a little amount of red bell pepper, of which I'm going to chop it into very tiny bits. And I'm also using 3 Scotch bonnet pepper, but you can go ahead and use any amount of Scotch bonnet pepper that you want. So for this recipe, I'm using 2 spring onions. And I'm going to also slice the onion into a very tiny bit. And I'm also going to be using the green part of the spring onion. So guys, right now my fish is already well cooked. I will go ahead and start deboning the fish. You want to make sure that you go ahead and take off all the bones from this mackerel fish. So when I'm done deboning all the fish, I will go ahead and use my hand to mash the fish. And when I'm done mashing the fish is going to look like this. So I will set it aside and get my pot into the fire and put in a little bit of cooking oil. So I'll go ahead and add in my onion and start stir frying it. For this recipe, to stir fry the veggies and the fish, you don't need lots of oil, so the oil will not start coming out when you're using it to roll the dough. So after adding in my onion, I will go ahead and add in the chopped veggies. And I'm going to stir fry it for about 3 minutes. So right now, I'll go ahead and add in half a teaspoon of thyme. And I will also add in half a teaspoon of paprika powder. I will also add in half a teaspoon of curry powder. So I'm going to stir this up together. And right now, I'll go ahead and transfer in the fish that I've already crushed with my hands. And I'll make sure I mix this up properly so the veggies will mix with the fish and give it a very nice taste. So at this point, you can see me testing the fish to see if there is seasoning. And I noticed there was not seasoning because I'm not using the water of the fish here. So I went ahead and added in half nut cube and a little bit of salt. Right now, I'm going to stir this up together and allow it to cook on a low heat for 2 minutes, and I will set it aside. So guys, right now I will go ahead and measure out 4 cups of plain flour, which I'm going to be using to make my dough. And I'm going to be using some milk, 250 grams butter, 2 tablespoons sugar, half a teaspoon baking powder, half a teaspoon nutmeg powder, a pinch of salt, and 1 egg. So I will go ahead and add in my 1 teaspoon of baking powder and sugar. I'll add in the salt and nutmeg powder, and I'm going to mix this up thoroughly. So when I'm done mixing this, I'll go ahead and add in my butter. If you don't have butter, you can go ahead and use margarine also. And I'll go ahead and start mixing this until the butter mixes properly with the flour. So after mixing the butter, I'll go ahead and add in my egg and mix it up together. So guys, for all the list and measurement of ingredients I'm using on this recipe, do check out the description box so you can get them anytime you want to make yours. So after mixing it, I'll go ahead and start adding in my milk bit by bit. But if you don't want to use milk, you can go ahead and use water. So I will continue adding in the milk bit by bit until I get the consistency of the dough that I'm going to be using to make my fish roll. So guys, you can see the consistency of the dough that I'm going for. At this point, I will sprinkle in a little bit of flour and use my hands to mix this dough properly. After mixing the dough, I will add in some flour on my work surface and I'm going to knead this dough for just a minute or two. Make sure you don't knead this dough for more than 2 minutes. So guys, after kneading this dough for about 2 minutes, I will go ahead and transfer it into my bowl and I'll cover it with a cling film and allow it to rest for about 20 minutes. So guys, thank you very much for clicking on this video. Please, if it's your first time here, don't forget to hit on that red subscribe button. Hit on the bell icon that goes with it. That way you will never miss any of my uploads. And also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and drop me a comment on the comment section regarding anything that you did not get clear on this video so I can go ahead and explain to you on the comment section, okay? So right now you can see I have divided my dough into 3 equal parts and I have saved the other 2 in my bowl and I'm going to be rolling one part out. So after rolling the dough, you can see how light and thin the dough is. I'll go ahead and give the dough a nice shape. And I will start adding in my already stir-fried fish into the dough. So guys, you want to make sure you use the longer side so you can get enough fish rolls out from the dough. So at this point, it is up to you the amount of fish that you want to fill up in your dough. And after adding in the fish, you want to go ahead and seal up the sides of the dough with some egg wash. And at this point, you want to gently and carefully lift up the dough to cover up the fish and make sure you use your palm to seal this up properly. And when you're done sealing it, you want to go ahead and roll the dough out. So after rolling it, I'll go ahead and roll it on my work surface to seal it up properly. And when I'm done, I will use my knife to cut out the size of fish roll that I am going to be making, okay? So it all depends on the size that you want. And when I'm done with this process, I will transfer the fish roll into my already greased pan. And I'll go ahead and start making the other batch of the fish rolls. So guys, you can see how I'm carefully using my hand to seal this up properly, because you don't want the fish to come out while you're trying to roll the fish roll. Make sure you seal this part properly. And go ahead and roll it on your work surface. And cut out the size that you want, okay? So guys, at this moment, I'm already preheating my oven for 10 minutes on 190 degree. And right now, I will use the same egg wash to brush on the fish roes. This is going to make the fish roe come out looking nice and beautiful. Yeah, so when I'm done giving this fish roe a nice egg wash, I will transfer it into my oven and bake it on 190 degree for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, voila, our fish roast is ready to enjoy. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you find this recipe helpful, please don't hesitate to hit on that red subscribe button if you've not already done so, and click on the bell icon so you will never miss any of my uploads. And don't forget to ask me any question on the comment section, as I'm always there to give answers to your questions. Till I see you on my next video, do have a lovely day. Bye bye.